welcome to Getting Your Money's Worth, the show that focuses on value. I'm Judith West, and our guest today is Rex Bobbish, principal of the cinema school. Right?
Yeah, yes,
cinema,
correct.
All right,
right.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go slow. Your school is in the Bronx, right?
Correct.
Which is a suburb of, we're international, so we have to always say,
Okay.
right? It's funny about New Yorkers never say Bronx, New York. They always say the Bronx.
Right.
Like
correct.
like the Bronx was standalone someplace.
Exactly.
Anyway, you're part of New York County, Manhattan County, and your school, the cinema school, emphasizes a liberal arts curriculum.
Correct.
It's a high school, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for the record, will you succinctly define a liberal arts curriculum?
Yeah, it's basically sort of producing Renaissance men and women. You're learning a little bit about each discipline of thought, each subject.
Well, is liberal arts and humanities interchangeable?
I believe so, except for I think liberal arts, sometimes people think math and science are not humanities subjects, where a liberal arts curriculum would show you the human connection.
Why do you say a Renaissance man? Is it such a throwback to prior years?
Well, I think actually the liberal arts tradition came from that era, and the idea that you should know a little bit about science, a little bit about math and literature, and you should be a well-rounded person, and that's when we say liberal arts, that's really what that means.
Yeah,
it's
and
not a political.
and
right.
well-rounded meaning music, art,
Correct.
history, some sense of it.
Right.
That whole side, the arts side, at least I don't know high schools. In colleges, of course, they're very liberal. Colleges are overstressing liberal and understressing arts. But your high school, that whole arts side is taking a beating in high school curriculums around the country, by the way.
That's absolutely correct, and we think that that's the exact wrong way for us to go. If you think of the 21st century jobs that our kids need to be qualified for, a lot of the skills come from humanities-based classes, just the connecting to an audience, storytelling, the writing and the literature.
All right, let's talk about some of that stuff. So. You call yourself cinema, so that's not just sitting around watching films.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
That's a misnomer.
Exactly right. Right.
First off, you are a selective high school.
Yes.
Which means that kids have to compete to get into your school. They compete on grade point average. And
yeah, it's they have to have a B average or better. They have to have excellent attendance, and they have to be on or above grade level in reading and math.
Yeah, and they have to be solid citizens.
Correct.
Or maintain solid citizenhood in your school.
Right.
Okay. So this cinema or filmmaking, I want you to talk a little bit about that. It's the vehicle by which kids learn and practice many necessary skills in life, right?
Yeah, the art of filmmaking, and I should also say we focus mostly on narrative filmmaking, which is storytelling, and that's a more elevated art. It requires many skills. It's a collaborative effort. There's a lot of pre-production work that goes into it. They get business experience out of it. They have.
Well, okay, let's just take that art of storytelling. If you want to break down storytelling into some of these skill sets, okay, for one thing, you have to know how to think.
Exactly right.
And you have to know how to you have to think sequentially. You have to start with a premise or with a thought, an A, and you have to go from A to B to C. You can't jump around all over the place and have a film, right?
Right,
and that in itself is something that many people don't learn to do.
Not in high school the way we have all the subjects very separate, right?
Right. They don't. Sometimes there's no interconnection. There's nothing interdisciplinary.
Exactly right. Right. And we usually wait till college, or even sometimes now after college, to have those experiences where we can do that.
Well, listen. I mean, I'm in business. I don't have. my business is downside, but I don't know if you've seen some applicant letters.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they're here, they're there, they're in this part of their life, that part of their life, and look, and one paragraph doesn't follow the other one if you even get a paragraph.
Yeah, and there's also a lack of ability to represent yourself in a way that you took time to show who are you writing that for? Who's your audience? And
so you have this whole business of how to think how to connect your thoughts, how to articulate them, how to speak, not only write but speak.
Correct.
Oh my gosh, that's a major improvement over lots of stuff I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we feel the kids are going to be ready to get into the most competitive colleges, basically because of the way we use filmmaking in our academic subjects in our school.
And which automatically transfers to interviewing skills.
Yep, yeah. There's, you know, almost every job that's a good job now requires the exact skills we've been talking about this whole time. And, you know, if you're just in a place where you're just doing math and then you go to science class and then, you know, there's... You
never learn. We used to, I used to teach, I did teach at one part of my career, and we used to teach courses called life skill courses with video camera. And just how to ask questions, how to present, like you said, how to present yourself. So many kids that interview people, they start out with, well, I don't know, what's the vacation plan? How many sick days?
Right.
I mean, yeah.
You know, I think maybe young people are still sort of like that, but we've been living through a time now where the kids in high school now are seeing how much people are really struggling, and I think they are really trying to improve themselves in ways that I haven't seen high school kids do in the last 10 years.
I think, like they say, it's good things, bad things. Our economic debacle is a big shock, but I think out of that will come some of what you're saying, that there's a greater appreciation for the work ethic and how to get a job and keep it. I mean, how to but whose idea was this to have a cinema school? You're not that old, are you?
No, I'm right in the middle of. I just passed the age of where I'm youthful still. So
no, but I mean, but your school.
Our school. Oh, me.
Yeah.
2 years is all we've been open. Yeah. So actually, our partner organization is a filmmaking organization in the South Bronx called Ghetto Film School, and they lobbied for years to get a school in the Bronx. And it's also, at the same time, Mayor Bloomberg and Chancellor Klein were trying to, the Mayor of New York City, trying to open selective schools in areas that didn't have any. Small schools. And the two ideas married. And then after all that work was done, I sort of stepped into the role. They were looking for someone to manage that school.
And you yourself are an artist. You're a musician?
Yeah.
And a lawyer?
Yes, yeah.
Right. And after all that, lawyering and playing for that school, you became a teacher.
Exactly.
Why?
You know, it was just a matter of, you know, trying to, you know, being from Detroit, you know, we were raised to be engineers or work in the auto industry, and so I went to business school and then went to law school, always trying to be practical, but I always had this interest in the arts, and I just never found fulfillment working in, you know, the corporate setting.
That's another thing, Rex, that I want to bring out. You know, it's true. None of us is going to talk about ignoring reading scores and math scores, but for a lot of kids, this is a way to express their thoughts, their emotions, that comes more naturally to them.
Right.
It's not it's not in the traditional forms. And a lot of the kids, especially, as not for nothing that you talk about your partner being ghetto, a lot of the kids in an urban area such as the Bronx don't come prepared with as many reading skills and math skills, don't have that support at home. So this is a very valuable tool for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of our parents feel it's a public school, but it's as if they're getting a private school tuition for free.
Right.
So
it is about, you know, when you say getting a money, it's a value.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're not. It doesn't cost you any more to educate a kid in your school than any other school, right?
Yeah, correct. And it is just more of a philosophy and an approach to teaching and learning that, you know, we would hope other schools embrace.
Do you have a discipline problem in your school, Rex?
No, you know, the young people will always find ways to get in trouble.
That's why they're called, you know, adolescent, right?
Very few fights. We're small, and we get a chance to mediate these things with our students before the conflict turns into a fight.
Right.
And you know, there's a lot of citizenship building we do, and it's always, you know, I really am one of the luckiest principals in New York City because every day is a joy. Yeah, they're really wonderful kids. They really, truly are.
And, and you have yet to graduate any bodies.
Correct. Right. Our first graduating class will be in 2013.
Oh, wow.
So,
Right. Yeah. But do you see budding talent?
Yes, I have throughout my whole year, all the years I've worked in education, a little over 10 years. But these kids in particular, being part of this school, we're the only school in the country that has a 4-year filmmaking program for kids, and they're getting a lot of
not just New York.
Correct,
right.
And they're getting a lot of attention, and I think that they're really starting to dream bigger for themselves, which is the difference.
Which is another thing.
Right.
I mean, after all, lots of kids, especially the kind of urban kids that you deal with, don't have much of a foundation in which to build the American dream.
Correct. Yes, and too, they're often told that that's not for them, or they're somehow excluded from it, and and sometimes schools unknowingly and unwittingly perpetuate that myth with kids by lowering expectations for them.
Right.
And they don't have that luxury at our school. We don't allow those types of excuses and blaming of other people for not doing what they're expected to do.
We hear a lot. We have a couple of minutes left, but we hear a lot about teacher quality and young good teachers and blah blah blah. What's the general makeup of the staff in your school?
It really, most of our staff have been teaching for more than 3 years, and
right.
we have just a couple teachers who have taught under 3 years. And
so most of your teachers are tenured.
Yes, and
right.
the quality is up to the principal, really. And you have to manage that and make sure that the people are right.
So you're like the CEO of your school.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
And you hold yourself accountable for the ability for the productivity of the curriculum and for
Absolutely.
the achievement of the kids.
Right, and my litmus test is, would I want my own child to be in this teacher's classroom? And if I can't comfortably say yes to that, then there's work I have to do.
Yeah. What is the problem here that there's such a hoopla about teacher quality over and over and over again?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that teaching is expensive. It's we all have to pay for it, collectively, and so the citizens want to make sure there's a good quality.
Well,
there.
that certainly is acceptable.
Yeah. Right. In most business environments, we can all point to a person in our office who wasn't, pulling their weight, but
right.
In schools we don't have that luxury. Everyone's got to be on
And I
point.
think that I suspect probably the big reason is that there's such angst is the fact that most of us that come from any other industry are accustomed to folks being good and not good and seeing some differentiation between how they're paid or how they're treated.
Oh, right, yeah, it's not that way with teachers.
And unfortunately, it isn't that way with teaching. But I think you're doing great work.
Thank you.
And I know that you have guests that come in, celebrities, and right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking now of who I know that I can possibly hook you up with.
That would be wonderful.
Who could give some support and come in and talk to kids. And let them allow them to expand their horizons.
It's wonderful, thank you.
Anyway, good luck to you. I love your story, and I hope you'll let me come up and visit.
Absolutely, anytime.
Right. Yeah, good luck to you.
Thank you.
I'm Judith West. You're watching Getting Your Money's Worth. Our guest is the principal of, it's Rex Bobbish.
Correct. You
right.
got it.
Principal of Cinema School in the Bronx, and our hats off to you for giving the citizens of New York their money's worth.
Excellent.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.